The former TSL Zerg player starting to the bottom right of the map, playing for LGIM with 1-0 lead in the series.
LGIM Ragnarok.
Back in the TSL days, TSL Zerg players love to drop, especially against Protoss, but also on maps like Antigua Shipyard, we've seen drop play against Terran players with Roaches. That's something that the player to the top left had to endure in game number 1 on Daybreak, the FXO Terran player, the Towel Terran.
FXO GuMiho.
It's the nickname for a nine-tailed fox. And, you know, GuMiho is best in the late game, I feel. When it comes to his late game management, his drop play, he's come back from games where he's over 100 supply down with just really nice defensive play, good drops, and excellent multitasking. And Ragnarok has probably studied this and knows, okay, if I can hit him with some really strong timings, like maybe Roach Baneling or maybe Baneling and Roach drops off of 3 bases, maybe I can shut him down before he gets to that really strong point in the late game.
For Ragnarok, it's just a great storyline if you look at it. He was playing so dominant in Korea so far. His run through the Korea qualifier bracket was also very impressive. And now being up 1-0 against GuMiho, that's really strong. Even if he doesn't make it today, even if GuMiho now turns things around, goes for the comeback, wins the series with the 2-1, then Ragnarok will be one of our main contenders for the up and downs.
Yeah, definitely so. You know, either of these players to fall, I think will have a great chance of getting out of the up and downs. Obviously, you want to avoid that because the up and downs are so grueling. There's so many different opponents you have to prepare for.
You know, talking about the up and downs, I mean, this season is going to be so insane. We've been talking about the GSL just getting better each and every season, and now we are going into an up and downs where we have players like Yoda playing. Creator, for example, will be in the up and downs. We have Hurricane in there. There's going to be Effort. We will have Avenge, Marine King. So many good players that will participate and try to get a shot to go into Codes again. It's going to be really interesting. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's going to be a really awesome week. Up and Downs is just, it's one of the most intense and awesome things to experience because it's kind of like the final deciding moment of where you're going to be next season. And last season especially, we had it really, really crazy because it was the first season of Heart of the Swarm. And it was, you know, where are you going to be when Heart of the Swarm starts? But now things have stabilized a little bit.
Spawning pull is now done for Ragnarok, and he goes straight for the double queen production, whereas GuMiho started things off with the Reaper once again.
Yep, I'm going to start that CC now.
Yep, starting the second Reaper too, so he's basically doing the same build that we've seen in game number 1 up to this point.
Yeah, let's see if he can do a little bit more damage this time, because last time he was relatively unsuccessful. The queen is not ready yet. He wants to target down this drone. Nice micro by GuMiho, but not able to get it.
And with the Reaper, you don't necessarily need to do damage these days. You actually don't expect to. You're always happy if you can snipe a drone or maybe a few Zerglings. But you try to get those scouting information, which is the most important point. Ooh, no Extractor. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't start an Extractor and cancel it.
It was almost as if he thought the queen was going to come out a little bit faster than it did.
Yeah, I actually think that was the case. Gets one of the Reapers. That's huge.
Yeah, that was a good target by Ragnarok and a little bit of a mistake by GuMiho, but that's great for Ragnarok. Now just going to be totally comfortable against these Reapers, even though on this map there's a lot more places to jump up. With only one Reaper, you're not really scared.
And here comes the factory. We have the reactor at the barracks and also immediately the third command center. So overall, the same that we've seen GuMiho execute on Daybreak. And in this game, he needs to have something against the Roach aggression. If he goes down the exactly same path, Ragnarok might just decide to go for the same strategy once again.
Ragnarok doing something really cool. He makes the creep tumor in the main very early. I really, really like that.
I love that. That's something that every time I ladder, when I go against a Terran player, I love to do that because I have perfect vision of my own base. And if there's a drop play, you are so much faster to react if there's creep everywhere. Also with the queens, if you have to defend against drop plays, you're a little bit more mobile within your own base. But very few Zerg players will actually do that because it is an investment. It's energy that you could spend for another inject or that you could spend for a tumor at the bottom of your base. So that's a very stylistic thing.
Yeah, you know, I really like it because as far as running units between the main base and natural at this point in the game, mostly that's going to be drones, and drones don't get a bonus on creep. So I really like this choice. And what if GuMiho goes for a Hellbat drop? He doesn't know that exactly. He's got some Overlords trying to get in place of Scout, but he doesn't know yet. And if it's a Hellbat drop, this is going to help him so much defending, getting that queen down the target. And it helped him here even to get that Reaper with the speed.
Once again, we have the Lair Tech coming up now, and we're going straight into the Roach Warren. So with the Roach Warren up, he can get his Roaches out once again, 7 at a time, and then just decide to go ahead, do a little bit of damage, stop Reapers, stop Hellions, do whatever he can. He will be safe. He can go into his third base. This is like a mirror match from what we've seen in game 1 so far.
Yeah.
Except that the Roach one this time is actually hidden.
Yes, he hides it very well over the right side. And now that he's killed the Reaper too, he can feel pretty comfortable knowing that it's very unlikely GuMiho will see this, even if he scans.
It's actually so funny that we see this, because this is a strategy that players like Jan have been executing for a long time, also with the Roach one that's been hiding. So you can really see that this is like the TSL school of Zergs. And this is scary. I mean, if GuMiho doesn't see this, and it suddenly hits him with speed, and there's the drop play once again. He's completely foregoing the 1-1 upgrades this time, which means that this is even going to be a little bit faster.
Yeah, very quick coming out here. Ragnarok just, you know, gonna hit the same build, and GuMiho's doing relatively the same thing himself. Obviously a little bit different with his timings on his upgrades, but with these timings he's gonna have stim faster, but his attack and defense upgrades a little bit later, which could even end up hurting him more.
Few roaches, not too many, but we have also GuMiho with a bit of a variation from what we've seen in game number 1. He's going for siege tanks this time. The number of siege tanks is going to be really crucial. If there's only one tank, let's say at the ramp to your main base, that will help you a little bit, but if the Zerg player is smart about what he does, he will drop on top of the siege tank, and then the tank will not matter too much. If you have more than one tank and they're not clumped up, you can do a lot more damage with this.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's the most important part. Or those two things: how many tanks and how spread they are. Because if he's got 3 tanks on top of each other, next to each other, the Roaches are just going to have a field day on that.
Exactly, the Roaches are going to be having a lot of fun. But now we have the second tank already in production. And this is going to be really interesting. I'm a little bit surprised that GuMiho doesn't micro that Hellion better, because that's kind of his grasp on the map.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anything, no map control, no mission.
Now he can't see anything, you're so right. That was his last one thing that could scout what's coming. He has no idea now, he's totally blind. We even have a Nidus network to help this out, so he's going to heavily commit to this attack in the main base. This is so scary.
It's really interesting as well. We have now drop done. And it lined up so perfectly well, but all these tanks that we have coming out for GuMiho will make this a little bit difficult for Ragnarok to execute. On the other hand, he's still in a position where he can pull it off.
A little bit of a poke here at the front. I think he's trying to distract GuMiho and pull his attention to the front instead of at the natural, where there are no bunkers this time, not even attempted. He has to...
What he's going to do, he's just dropping in the main base. As soon as he has vision, he drops the Nidus. He will control the main, but this SCV...
I cannot believe he didn't kill that SCV. He's seen it with the Overseer for so long.
Oh, Marines dropping and already starting to attack those few Overlords. But where is the Nidus? There it is. He's dropping on top of it. The reinforcements will arrive in just a few seconds. Where are the siege tanks? He's even using the Contaminate.
Yeah, uses the Contaminate here. The siege tanks arriving a bit late, but he should be able to target the Nidus down.
He has to save it, and that's exactly what he does. The Nidus is ready, but the siege tanks, they attack it immediately. It's still alive, though.
Transfuse, no transfuse on the Queen.
But still so many roads to the main base, and they target down all those siege tanks right away.
And the second Nidus is good here. It looks like GuMiho may just fall to similar builds 2 games in a row.
Another Nidus is immediately being built by Ragnarok. He takes down the last siege tank. The SCV is already dying, and the Zerg player is camping the production of the FXO Terran player.
He's done it. GG!
Oh my god. Ragnarok is on a roll.
That was so strange about that SCV. GuMiho saw everything, but he still didn't have his tanks ready. He didn't move anything into the main base. It was like he was so scared, so focused on the front.
I think he might have thought that there is, that it's bait.
Yeah, I could have thought it was a fake, for sure.
That it's only Overlords. There's no way that you keep those Overlords right in plain sight. And,
plus, it's also the second game doing a strategy like this, so you might be going, you're really faking me out here. You're going to even send the Overlords over, but I know it's not the case.
If I was GuMiho, I would be pissed right now.
I would be too, man.
It's not that you lose with an 0-2, but the way how you lose. You lose with the same strategy twice, and you don't know what to do against it. And you know that, especially in game number 2, it's your own fault to a certain extent, with you not reacting to what you scout.
Yeah.
But from Ragnarok point of view, this is like amazing. He's in Code S now.
Yeah, he's in Code S. He's now a Code S player.
And he did not lose a single map in Code A.
Not a single one. He's gone straight from the Challenger League all the way to Code S. Totally, I mean, he's looking really, really strong.
He defeated Bunny, he took down Sound, he took down GuMiho. All 3 of them Terran players, not losing a single map, going straight to Godes right now. That was very impressive.
Yeah, extremely impressive. And the games we just saw, I mean, they can't get much more crisp than that. I mean, maybe killing the SCV, that's the only thing I could see in that game where I'm like, he kind of messed that part up, but everything else, pretty perfect.
He's like Life 2.0, 16 years old as well. Life was a little bit younger, but let's see what Ragnarok can actually do in Code S. Would be really amazing to have 2 young Zerg players just fighting in Code S and doing well. But so far, of course, he has to show us that he's also good in the ZVZ and in the Zerg versus Protoss. But guys, we are heading into our next match in just a few minutes. We're having a short 5-minute break before we go into game number 2, so stay tuned, and as soon as we'll be back, we are going into the second best of 3 of the day. See you in a few.